To go live in a second. Just let me get this ready here and we will be ready to roll. Just give me 1 second. There we go. Okay. So who else we got on here? We got John on here. We got Sinfuls on here. Let's see. Hopefully we can get a bunch of people on here today. Today we had a busy day helping one of my expat buddies around here. Let's see. Get this color right. There we go. How you doing tonight, John? How's things going? You still there? Let's see if we can wait to get a couple more people on. Here we go. JM's on here. Hi, sir. How come Thailand is opening before the Philippines? That I don't know. That's a good question. But you know something? The Philippines usually follows Thailand. So that's that says something right there. So I think we're getting ready to open, to be honest with you, because I've been seeing a lot of the restaurants opening up. I see a lot of the stores opening up that were closed from before. When I was up at the Conrad building the other day, they had this place called the Dessert Museum that had been closed for a long time during the COVID, and it was open. It was open, and they were hiring people. So that says something right there. So they're opening up here. They're definitely starting to open up here, and there's a lot more movement in the malls, a lot more things going on. So a lot of good things are happening here. Just stay positive. We'll open. Trust me, we'll get there. Let's see. RC in Jacksonville. Hi. It says evening, Steve. How you doing, RC? Brian Adamson. Hi, Brian in the UL. Spanish 2001's on here. I think we had them last week, right? Let's see. Good morning. How you doing? Don Murphy. Cambodia is wide open too. Hi, Steve. How you doing, Don? John Wales doing well. Had a man get shot across from my apartment last week. Two-man motorcycle tandem. That's not good. That's not good news at all, John. You know. Dion Cash says, "Good evening from the USA." How you doing, Dion? So we got 13 people on here really quick. That's pretty good. Let's see who else we got on here. But yeah, I think things are opening up. John, how do you feel about that? What do you think? You think things are opening up? You seeing that a lot more movement down there, a lot more things going on? I'm hearing that there's a lot more resort ads on my videos too, and I'm seeing that a lot of stuff online for resorts too. So that's good news, I think. So we got 15 people on here. Who else we got on here? Guys, just shoot some questions. So the guy that got shot, was he shot dead? John? See if we can find this out. Get some more questions on here first. So Cambodia is wide open too. That's pretty cool. I heard Belize is too. Here we go. Now we got some stuff going on. Kevin Smith. Hey, Steve. Good evening from Ireland. There we go. Ireland. Smoky Mountain Modelers on board. There we go. Mark. Good evening. John Wales. Yes, but the WHO is warning the Philippines not to open. That's not good. I don't like that, because I think we need to open here. I mean, the COVID counts are starting to go down. I think things are starting to get better here. I mean, I'm so tired of this stuff. I'm sure you are too. All you guys are. Joe Border says, "Hey guys, howdy from Texas." Gleason Baker, hello Steve. How you doing, Gleason? Smoky Mountain Modeler says, "Hello, John." Let's see, Steven 2020 says, "Hi Steve from New York City." F the hoop, Joe Porter says. John Wills, yes, shot dead. About 12 feet from my apartment. That's not good. When I was back in Lawrence, Massachusetts, I had 6 shots shot into my house back home, back in Lawrence, Massachusetts. Don Murphy, the people in the Philippines need to open. The extreme poverty is terrible. Yeah, it's getting worse too. And then Aang Hubby says, "I like the Who." Yeah, the rock group maybe, like Bubba O'Reilly. There we go. Now we're talking. Those are the good old days. Let's see, who else we got on here? 29 people, 5 thumbs up. Who else we got on here tonight? Let's see who else. See if anybody else. Some people watch on their TV, so they can't say hello or whatever. But let's get some questions rolling on here, guys. John Wales says, "Smoky Mountain Model, how are you doing, Jeff? I was worried about you. Haven't seen you for a while." Steve Ford says, "Hi, Steve from St. Moritz. -8 last night." That's kind of cold. A little bit too cold for me. Let's see. Spanish 2001 says, Retired in March, currently in the Dominican Republic, wanting to take a trip to the PI. Was there at Subic while in the military, but it's almost a 2-day trip. There we go. Waiting for the sun says 22% fully vaxxed and pH as of yesterday. I think it's higher than that. I thought it was like 24 or 23. I heard, but I could be wrong. I thought it was. I think that might be wrong. Let's see. 13 says hello from fellow masshole in Angeles City. There we go. JM says, do you think that the Philippines will require COVID-19 insurance? Maybe, but I seriously doubt it. I think I don't know how they're going to handle that. That's a good question, though, because I know some of the countries are having you buy some sort of insurance. But yeah, might be. It's like $50 though. I heard something like that. I think it was in Thailand. I heard they had it. I think it's like $50. Sinful says, going to play in the snow today with my pooch. There we go. I don't miss the snow. I miss seeing things in New England, but I don't miss the snow. So you got 39 people, 15 thumbs up. Any news on when the green list will be updated? I heard it's supposed to be updated in a few more days, and I'm hearing rumors that they're in talks with the United States to open up to the U.S. in some way, shape, or form. So this is going to be interesting to see what happens. But the question is, will they open up for tourist visas? So that's the question. Crypto Trucker says the WHO is criminal. I tend to agree with that, with what's going on in the world today. There's a lot to be said for people that say that, because I think the WHO has got way too much power in the world. Smoky Mountain Model says, been busy moving, doing the whole thing on my own. Too tired to watch the live streams. Let's see. And then Michael L. How you doing, Mike? It's good to see you on board again. Lazy Larry says, hi, Steven. Once again, I'm at work and we'll just listen. That's fine, Larry. That's okay. Walleye364 says, Thailand has 46 countries that can enter with no quarantine starting November 1st. Philippines isn't on that list. Yeah, because of the current vaccination rate. That's why. I think that's going to pick up pretty fast, though. But I heard that they were going door to door, the nurses, the other day, and they weren't getting too many takers. And that's not a good sign. So I don't know if they'll reach that 70% mark. JM says, have there been a lot of business that collapsed since closing the Philippines? Yes, there have been. But there's been a lot of businesses also that were closed and then reopened just recently. As a matter of fact, this past week, when I was walking around the Conrad building, I noticed a lot of the places that were closed or locked up had reopened. And I noticed that the mall was more full and the restaurants were full the other day when I went there. Steve Ford says, Steve, my girlfriend had her first Pfizer injection this week. We will need both to travel to Iloilo to sign deed of sale. Do you think? Probably, yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of funny because a lot of things are opening up here, and the travel is getting much easier amongst provinces, but I'm not sure. I know some provinces are still having issues, so I don't know which ones having issues and which ones aren't. So I really can't say too much to that, Steve. I wish I could give you a better answer, but I'm not sure. I would think Iloilo would be pretty easy to get into, but like I said, I'm not 100% sure on that because I don't travel down there or anything. John Wales says, Smoky Mountain Model, okay, just glad that you are okay. Sinful says, just going for one last time before heading to there. There we go. Steven 2020 says, are there ever issues using Western Union to transfer money from my bank in the U.S. to myself in the Philippines? No, I actually do that, Steve. I do that. I send myself money sometimes, and sometimes I send my girlfriend money. Okay, and I send it from my bank account in the U.S. to my bank account here, and it's very easy if you use the Western Union app. Okay, and it's cheaper on the tier too if you do the one that takes like 3 to 4 days. And usually it doesn't take 3 to 4 days. If you use it a few times, they start letting you do it sometimes within 2 hours. So, but sometimes, yeah, it does take 3 or 4 days, but most of the time it's like 2 hours. Okay, so it's not a big concern. Robert Hillier says, seems like the travel restrictions change every other day regarding the Philippines. They are trying for tourists. But I think they're trying. I really honestly think they want to get tourists in here, but I think there's so many people outside the country talking to them, trying to get them to change their mind until they get it under control. And the COVID cases are going down right now. They're dropping fast. They wanted to get below 8,000. I think we're almost there. Let's see. Francisco Flitza says, "Hi Steve, how you doing, Francisco?" JP says, "Aloha, folks. JW in the house." John Wales says, "JM, yes, I've seen a lot shut their doors." Yeah, a lot of restaurants have shut their doors, and a lot of places have closed down permanently, and will probably never open again. And those people lost a lot of money and probably put them into poverty too. So it's not a good thing. Let's see. Esofrani Caesar says, "Hi from Romania. Love you. Love your vlogs. Keep up the good work." Thank you, man. I appreciate it. 13 says, "I think telling tale on opening closer will be if they stay open or close up in November for cemetery visits for families, All Saints Day." Maybe. We'll see. Brooke Schneider says, "Stratford, Ontario, Canada, home of the largest Shakespearean festival outside of England. In the house." Brooke's going to be moving here right to Tracy. Tracy, we just got a friend of mine, Darren, he just moved here, and he's here now. He came in on the SRRV, and he's here, and he's out of quarantine right now. So he's here, and we're helping him find a home. We just found a home for him today. So right in General Trias. Found a nice little home. Actually, I vlogged one of the homes. It's actually Eagle Ridge, the golf course. I'll let you check it out. I'll post it probably within the next day or two. Dodger Blue says, "Good morning, Steve. Hernia surgery today. I hear it is about as painful as spending the day with Joe Biden." Can't get any worse than that, right? I like that one. Roger Miller says, "Good evening, Steve. How you doing, Roger?" Michael L., I heard that from JT that incoming Filipino citizens in the U.S. are having their CDC cards accepted. Yes. Yep. They're accepting the CDC cards. Yet U.S. citizens' CDC cards were not being... I don't know. I heard the CDC cards were getting accepted by everybody, but I could be wrong on that. But that's what I heard last. So, let's see. John Wales, Dodger Blue, I'd rather have the surgery. Yeah. I feel the same way about Joe Biden, let me tell you. Michael L. says, "The only way Americans were getting reduced quarantine is if their doctor acquired a WHO yellow card for them." Yeah, you can get that here. You can go to the office of the Department of Quarantine, I think it is. You can get that. But I'm not sure about that. I heard that they were accepting CDC cards, but I haven't verified that yet. Hey, Rick Kaiser's in the house. This is a friend of mine from back home. "Hey, Steve, good to see you are doing well." Thanks, Rick. Good to see you on here, man. Get in contact with me sometime. Ask me in one of the things for my email on one of my vlogs, and I'll see it, okay? And then I'll give you my phone number, okay, Rick? We'll get in touch. Spanish 2001, everyone will have to get vaccinated and keep the card with you. That's how most of the world is allowing travel. Yeah, without the card, it's a no-go. Pretty much. They'll let you travel, but it's hard, really hard. JM, Thailand is the only open to those 46 countries, but you have to be in that country for at least 21 days, meaning that if you're in the DR, you have to go to the U.S. for 21 days before going to Thailand. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you have to be in one of the countries that they accept for so many days. You can't just, because you're from that country, it doesn't mean that you're okay to go to that country, but we'll see. Let's see. Rick Heiser says, "You still need a new background." Yeah, I probably do. I'm actually in the kitchen right now, Rick. Not in the bedroom, because my girlfriend's in the bedroom, so I'm out here in the kitchen. But it's okay. We always do it in here anyway. Smoky Mountain Modeler, any experience using Zelle for money transfers? No, I haven't. I've used the Western Union all the time because I like them. I actually like Western Union a lot. I know there's other money transfer places out there, but I've had so much with Western Union for international transfers, and it's so cheap that I stick with them. When you use the app on your phone, I know for domestic transfers they're very expensive, but I also know for international transfers they're very cheap. So it's really weird. Western Union is kind of funny like that. Brooke Snyder says, "Have used Wise for money transfers, no problems. Rate is great, and best news, it's always there the next day." That's good. That's good to know. There's so many of those fintech places for sending money that There's a lot of good ones. You can probably just Google what's the cheapest and what's the best. But I stand by Western Union just because I've used them forever, and it's cheap for me. Sinful says Philippine Airlines has requested for more flights in and no quarantine time for all vaccinated. There we go. Let's see, Jan from Holland. I have a debit card from Wise. Very happy with it. There we go. K9 Companion says, hey, Steve and the gang. How you doing, K9 Companion? JP, sweet. Smoky Mountain Modeler. Thanks, JP. Craig Jordan says, good morning, everyone. Smoky Mountain Model. Hello, Craig Jordan. Hope all is well. RC in Jacksonville. Thoughts on Palawan? Too far away from important things like good hospitals, etc. I'm not sure what they have for hospitals down there. I know it's a beautiful place. I have a friend of mine that's down there. She comes on here sometimes. She might even be on here right now. And she might talk about Palawan. But she loves it down there. And I'm not sure about the hospitals, but I don't know. I'd have to look into that. I'm really not sure. You might want to do a little bit of homework on it. Palawan's beautiful. It's like Hawaii. It's really beautiful down there. People that live there love it. Let's see. Rick Kaiser, nice skipping over my hello, old friend. I did say that. I said it, Rick. I said me and Rick used to be old friends. I said that in the beginning. So I did say that. Hercules Journey says, hey, Smoky Mountain Model, any ATM fees at Jan from Holland? Chinoy, good morning, Steve, and to you all. How you doing, Chinoy? Rick Kaiser, LO, you did notice. Yeah, I did notice, Rick. Rick and I used to hang out when I was younger, a long, long time ago. What's funny is, me, Rick, and this other guy used to hang out, and the other guy's also over here now in the Philippines too. His name was Carl, and Carl lives south of me. So it's funny that he's talking to me right now. But Steven220 says, Steve, so glad I found your channel. I feel I'm getting good and reliable info about living there. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. See, we got 65 people, 68 people, 31 thumbs up. Thanks, guys. Let's see. Brian Faulkner says, hello. Travel Discoveries on board. Guys, if you're looking for a good channel on YouTube, Travel Discovery is an awesome channel. Check it out. All you guys will like this channel. Check it out. She needs some more subscribers to get monetized, but she puts out really, really good material. So I'm not saying that just to get her more people. She does put out really good material, guys. So check out Travel Discovery. She's here right now. Let's see. Good evening. Can you tell us more about S&R store? S&R is like kind of like Costco or BJ's, that type of store. It's like where you buy in bulk. You get everything is big. But they also sell steaks, things like that. But you have to be a member, okay? And it's not that expensive, and they're all over the Philippines. And they sell a lot of American and Western goods too. So that's the good thing. And you can get good steaks there, seafood, fish. You can even get Alaskan king crab there. So just FYI, you want to join a good club here in the Philippines where you can get good Western food. S&R all the way. And when you get the card, you get 10% off their restaurants for like pizza and stuff like that. Just FYI. See, John Wales says, RC in Jacksonville, I read that Palawan is the only island that still has malaria. Just what I've read. I haven't heard that. That's interesting, though. Lazy Larry says, hi, Chinoy. KJC hates the West. By the time I retire, I will have about 150K from the sale of my house and 1.5K a month. Is that enough to live comfortably? Yes. Yes. Not comfortable, but you'd live well. Okay? 1.5K, you'd live okay. You could make it here. Especially with the 150K if you don't blow it on housing or booze or women and stuff like that, but save it for if you get sick or something. You could almost self-insure on that. Okay? And also think about getting Pacific Cross or something like that, or some sort of health insurance when you're over here. Get the Pacific Cross Peso plan. The Peso plan is a very good deal. Okay, and they have the thing called an access card or something like that. I have it, but somebody said that they changed the name of that or something, but they used to call it the access card. You just hand that over to the hospital if it's a member hospital of Pacific Cross, and it pays direct to that hospital. So you don't have to cough up any money to the hospital. See, Don Murphy says they just made it legal in Canada to fire people for not getting the vaccine. U.S. too. My friend was already threatened. He was told that he would lose his engineering job if he didn't get the vaccine. So he had to get it. So let's see. Chinoy says, "Morning, Smoky Mountain." Let's see. John Osmond says, "Hey Steve, question: What should one pay a registered nurse per month if they live with them 24/7, assuming that the RN receives a free room and all the food and all the bills are paid?" Probably about $500 a month. I'll guess if you're supplying the room and all the bills are paid, about $500 a month, $600 a month probably, right around there. I know some of the hospitals pay cheaper than that, but if you were to get her from a RN service or something like that, probably about 500 or 600. If you talk to them yourself and hired them yourself, probably about 400 to 500 maybe. I would say, depending on how much experience she has too. So that has a big part of that. You're gonna pay more for somebody with more experience, but somebody fresh out of nursing school, something like that, probably about 400 or 500. Let's see. Michael L says, "Too bad my girl is in the Philippines and not SG. SG is still closed to Philippine citizens." Yeah, a lot of places are still closed. It's kind of sad, but a lot of places are open up. Belize has been letting people in there. Belize is beautiful. It's a lot like the Philippines. And Steve Ford says, "I did my second Pfizer in France. UK will not allow this for entry, and want quarantine. All other EU countries are okay. Yet they use Pfizer there also. Wonder why I left the country." Yeah. There's all kinds of questions going on with all around the world with what's going on with these shots and everything. JM says, "Do you ever use your debit cards from the U.S. and the Philippines, or just your credit cards?" I actually use both. I use both. Sometimes if I go to Kenny Rogers, I'll use my debit card. Sometimes I'll use my credit cards. Paul Osborne says, do any of your subscribers have a 24/7 RN? Not that I know of. I've never heard of anybody that has one. No, not 24/7. You have to give the girl a break too. She has to have the right to go visit people or whatever, or have time off. 24/7's a little rough. You could find it, but that's a little hard on a RN if you're really sick. So just, I don't know what your situation is, but if you need 24/7, nursing, then you might have to hire two of them. But I don't know what your situation is. See, Craig Jordan says, "John Wales, how old are you? Did you move to your new home yet?" Michael L says, "Internet connectivity in El Nido and Coron sucks. Beautiful, however, both internet speeds and latency are poor." Yeah, where I'm at though, it's really good. We have awesome internet speeds here. Crypto Trucker says, "Bitcoin peer-to-peer at some point will kill Western Union. No fees." I'm not sure. If you send money from the United States to here, they take a little bit out when they do the switch from dollars to pesos. Just FYI. Okay, that's how they get their money. Smoky Mountain. Let's see. Jan and Holland says, "Smoky Mountain model last transfer 10,000 pesos to my girlfriend. Rate €1 to 58.81 pesos. No transfer fee." Yeah, that's why I use them. They're really cheap when you use one of the choices on the app. They just take out a little bit on the transfer from dollars to pesos. It's not much. It's a very small amount. Let's see. Smoky Mountain Model says, "Will be a while before I get building. Busy moving to a new place." Michael L says, "Puerto Princesa internet is okay. The rest of Palawan Island connectivity needs an upgrade." They're really upgrading the whole Philippines pretty much, and it's happening pretty fast in the upper part of the Philippines. But the lower half, man, it's slow. It's moving at a snail's pace. See, Michael L says, Can you link us to Travel Discoveries? I have not been able to find it." If she's on here right now, she could probably put a link up right now for us, hopefully, if she's still on here. Let's see. JP, Wild Do Steve at Travel Discovery. Yeah, at that channel, it's a good channel. Check it out. JP Will First Cup of Java. Dan Royals, could you use a crypto account to transfer with no fees and it takes seconds, not hours? You could probably do that, but I'm not sure, of the legalities of it. I'm not big into, sending crypto, over the internet or anything like that. So I couldn't really give you an answer on it. I do trade crypto and stuff, and I do go on Coinbase. And I love Coinbase because they give you a free crypto. A lot of times, once you join and you put at least like $200 in there or something, it allows you to take these little quizzes and stuff like that on there for free crypto. I got like about $70 on there for free, if not more. See, John Wales, Craig Jordan. No, I've been looking, but I haven't found one yet. After getting rid of the chickens that one of the renters brought in, things have calmed down here. Rick Kaiser, well, have a good night, Steve. 10 a.m. here. Need to get ready to head out to the races for the afternoon. There you go, Rick. Try to get in touch with me though soon. I'm back on Facebook too, Rick. Just FYI, I'm back on there. Michael L., we have quinine for malaria. Is it a solved problem? Many other meds also available. They just said that malaria is in Palawan, so I don't know. I think it was it you that said that? I haven't heard of anybody getting malaria here recently. Edward, hi from Spain. How you doing, Edward? Rick Kaiser, I will message for your phone number, etc. Time difference is the only issue. Yeah, we'll figure it out, Rick. Don't worry. I have an American phone number, so I can just give it to you. Magic Jack. I'll give it to you when you email me, okay? Or you message me on Messenger. Craig Jordan, John Wales, chickens are best in a deep fryer. Sperlin Edwards from Connecticut. How you doing, Sperlin? Sperlin, I think I think it was you. I think you're, was it you? Might be you. I think you were talking to me on Messenger, and I think somebody hacked your account. They're talking about grants or something like that. I think it was your account, if I remember correctly. But I could be wrong. I talked to a lot of people, but I think it was you. Philip Jones, you're spot on with China. They are even building shipping infrastructure in the Caribbean. They are also building large solar infrastructure in Texas. So I'm telling you, China's right on top of this, man, like in a very big way, and it's kind of scary. Let's see. Michael's naming, I don't know, I can't even pronounce that. It's a preventative for malaria. Use it all the time when I was in Southeast Asia. It's good to know. I've never seen anybody get malaria over here, though. I know they had it. I've heard of people down in Central America getting it, though. John Wales, Craig Jordan, I told them to get rid of them or I would. The chickens were gone in 1 hour. There we go. Brian Faulkner says, I'm retiring the Philippines in 12 years. Let's see. I will have $35K a year. Will I be able to live like the West or need to live more simple? Well, in 12 years, that's kind of hard for me to even give you a clue on that. You know what I mean? I don't know. You're talking 12 years in advance. There's a lot of things going on in 12 years. Who knows what the dollar will be worth? I wouldn't even venture to guess on that. Not in 12 years. See, Michael L., I would never use a debit card. If your debit card gets hacked, the bank will freeze your entire checking account until the matter is resolved. Credit cards only. Yeah, most of the time I use credit cards, but yeah, I use my debit card once in a while too. Nea Doll says, Salamat po, you really have a great channel, and I hope to travel your way one day when I can come back to the Philippines and enjoy my retirement. There you go. Chuck Newman says, hi, Steve. Don Murphy, HSB Bank is a good option for Philippine ATMs are free if you have an account in Canada or USA. John Wales says, Michael L., I agree with you. JP, Brian, 12 years times 3% inflation minus 35K could be enough. Well, we don't have 3% inflation. We got 6% inflation right now. So, I don't know. Could be close. I think he'll make it, though. I think he will. It sounds about right. You can make it here right now, probably like about 15,000 a year or something like that. But it'd be tight. That would be like the lowest I'd go. I don't even know if I'd go that low. You wouldn't live good. You wouldn't live happy, but you'd live okay. You'd survive. Let's see. Rick's Destination Cebu. Always appreciate your frank, honest information. Thanks, Rick. Sperlin Edwards. what's going to be good is when you can pay bills online in the Philippines. You can, you can, Sperlin. I believe BDO allows that, so they do allow it. This banks that allow that. Yes. Andy Lee says Bitcoin transfer is 99.9% free of charges. It's just that the recipient needs to either convert it to peso or spend with a retailer or supplier who accepts Bitcoin. Yeah. I'm not sure about the taxability on that, though. I always wonder about that. That's what worries me. That's the thing about Bitcoin and all that stuff. It always worries me because it's going up and down. It's hard to keep track of and hard to pay taxes on or figure out what your taxes are on it. Jason Will just joined. Have you been to Manila Bay since it opened? Any impressions? I saw it, yes. There's a whole bunch of ships sitting out there waiting to offload. What does that tell you? Sound familiar, USA? You know, I mean, there's about 50 ships sitting off the coast right now waiting to unload. And usually you never see that many ships out in Manila Bay. But you know what? They're sitting out there now. Edward, I'm good, Steve. Thank you. Let's see. Craig Jordan says, Michael L., the banks need to do better by their customers instead of further punishing them as victims. Exactly. Sperlin Edwards, thanks. I'll check right now. Yeah, I think when we were talking, I think you were talking to me on Messenger, Sperlin. I just want to say that, you know, and this, I think there's some grant thing that somebody sends me. And I believe it was your account. It was either you or one of the other guys. I think it was you, but check it. I'm not sure. It could have been this other guy, Gleason, I think his name is. It was either you or Gleason. Travel Discovery, thanks for the shout out, Steve. I really appreciate it. I enjoy spotlighting countries. I have a Philippines playlist too. Thanks again. Hey, Travel Discovery, can you give us a link to your account on here? Will it let you? If you can, it would be greatly appreciated. I'm sure some of these guys would like to go and check it out. Crypto Trucker says, how do you keep a U.S. phone number? I use Magic Jack, but I actually use Magic App, which is part of Magic Jack, and it's very cheap. It's about $25 to $30 a year or something like that, somewhere around there. It's very cheap, and it's worth it, Crypto Trucker. You know, Francisco Fletes, right now the reporting requirement for bank accounts overseas is 10K. Yeah, you have to do the FATCA or whatever they call it there. Let's see. For my that's just my SRRV deposit. So I can't have a local account. I just use USAA and Navy Fed from the US. Yeah, and don't forget that account is going to be getting interest on that. So Francisco, you probably do need to do a FATCA reporting. It's very simple to do that form, you know. It's not hard. You just got to remember to fill it out every year. HW, hey Steve, I have some dental work estimate, 10K here in the States. Does the Philippines have good dentists there? Worth waiting? Well, I did a story about dentists, and the dentist down here, the first dentist I went to told me I had 8 cavities when I know that I didn't. And I went to another dentist because I walked out of that office because I thought that was disgusting that somebody was telling me I had 8 cavities when I knew I didn't. And then I went to another dentist at De La Salle University Hospital, and they said I had 0 cavities and I had really nice teeth. Well, I recommend you go to De La Salle University Hospital or a hospital dentist versus a street dentist here. And some of the malls have good dentists too, I heard. But if you were going to pay 10K in the U.S., it's probably going to be more like about 2,000 here or 2,500. But go to a good dentist. Make sure you find a good dentist here. Just don't walk into some dentist and think you're going to get the same dental services over here. It's not the same. Okay, get a good dentist. Craig Jordan, the Philippine Info Channel. What should a consumer look for in the bank branches in the Philippines? Well, I tell people to use. I mean, I'm just going to recommend BDO. I love BDO Bank. They're decent. All the banks here are a little bit slow. A lot of paperwork. You know, a lot of effort you have to put into things. But I like BDO. I would just use that bank, and I think you'll be fine. You know, I wouldn't use any other bank here. I wouldn't feel safe using China Bank or any of the other banks here. And they have BPI and a whole bunch. BDO is one of the most popular banks over here. Just use BDO. You'll be fine. Philip Jones says, my debit card got hacked when I was in Canada, but they never froze it. They called me. They just denied transactions until I went over the transactions. Took 1 hour. Let's see. Francisco Fleta says, once I convert my 10K US dollar SRV into the 1500 SRV, once I turn 50, I'll get the local Philippines bank account. Francisco, are you now? I heard from Mary Rose we can do that, and other people have told me no. And Mary Rose, I believe, even told me that I can do that. I'm going to call and check on that because I'm hearing conflicting reports off one of the other guys. So I'm going to check into that, okay? Because I'm like 99% sure you can do that. And did Mary Rose tell you that you can do that also? Because I'm hearing from one person that you can't do it, and then I heard from I thought it was from, if I remember correctly, I think Mary Rose told me that we could do that. You know, so I think you're right about that, but I have somebody else arguing with me saying no, you can't, and I'm not, I don't know, but I think you can. I've actually had like two or three people tell me that, and I'm like, no, where are people getting this information? Leonard Lund says, "Hi Steve from Houston, Texas. Keep up the good content." Actually, I got an email about that too today, so I got to find out. I'm gonna have to talk with Mary Rose about that just to make sure I got that correct, because I'm pretty sure you can. Crypto Trucker, how much for a housekeeper and run errands, pay bills, etc.? Housekeeper's cheap, probably about $100 if she's a live-in housekeeper. A little bit more if she doesn't. Brooke Schneider's key with Bitcoin is to hold for long term. 5% of your assets is enough. Volatility will reduce as institution adoption grows. Travel Discovery, that's the link. Thanks. It didn't go through Travel Discovery. There's no link on there. They can just look up your name, Travel Discovery. Guys, write that name down, Travel Discovery. Excellent vlog. I think all of you guys would enjoy that if you saw it. Steve Ford says, "Hi Steve, as you lived in Iloilo, what language would you learn as so many dialects spoken there? I will be in Antique." Yeah, I didn't really live there. I was there a long time ago. I would just learn Tagalog because everybody speaks Tagalog. I wouldn't try to learn any of the dialects unless you wanted to, you know. I can't remember the dialect that they have down there. I'm not sure. Joan, what's the dialect they speak in Iloilo? Ilongo. It's a longo, okay? That's what they call it. You could learn that if you wanted to, but down there. Probably go a long way down there, but I think they speak like a mix of both Ilongo and Tagalog, but I'm not sure. I never learned the language, so you're asking the wrong person. Martin Harvey says, dengue is fairly widespread in Asia, some cases in Naga, Luzon, where still water stands in poor areas. Yeah, dengue is pretty prevalent still. John Will says, Crypto Trucker, I know expats that have housekeepers for $50 to $60 a month. That's true. Yeah, you just got to feed them good and stuff like that. But that's a little bit low on the budget for a housekeeper, you know. I would pay more, like $100 or something. I think that's just a fair amount. Michael L. says, can confirm that BDO is good. Yeah, BDO is excellent. I like BDO. Let's see. R&R, with regard to SRRV fees, Steve, is it allowed to send the processing fee and deposit fee several days apart rather than all in one transaction? I don't know. That's a question for Mary Rose, R&R. You have to ask Mary Rose that if that's okay. I think they want it all in one day, but it might not matter. Mary Rose will give you the answer on that one. I don't deal on that side. I deal on the apostille side and the police report side. So that's really a question for Mary Rose. If you ask her, she'll answer that. Steve Ford says, Steve, my girlfriend auntie is a yaya, 30 years, same family, gets 3,500 pesos a month. Yeah, the pays vary around here by what island you're on, and if you're in Manila, you can get, they charge more than that. But yeah, in some of the islands and stuff like that, they don't charge very much. As long as you give them food and a room and stuff like that, most of these people are happy, See, Rick's destination, Cebu, our Balikbayan spouse is subject to a bank deposit or income requirements. No. Let's see, a wife is a national and I will be retiring. No, you don't have to have any bank deposit. Nope. Gary, son of Larry, says, any hope for unvaxxed to enter? Not without a long quarantine, I think when they do open up fully, I think that's unvaxxed stuff isn't gonna matter anymore. I really don't think so. But they might have the quarantine for a while longer for you guys. Just a gut feeling. KJC says KJC hates the West is his name. Let's see. To apply for an SRRV, I need roughly 20K in a Philippine bank account. Does it always need to be there? Well, you can buy a condo with it, or you can do a long-term lease on property. But either one of those things would go under, because it would still be like a security. Would be, let's see, the PRA would have their name on it, okay, on the lease or the condo. So just remember that. It will get taken off when you die or whatever. So you want to make sure you have a will. That's important, okay? Patrick Randolph, what up, Steve? Thanks for the Mary Rose contact. You're welcome, man. Mary Rose is awesome because Mary Rose gets paid by the PRA just like all these other agents that are charging you 500 or 1,000 or 2,500 is the highest, I guess they go, okay? And she just takes the money, the 500 from the PRA, and that's all she takes. If you want to give her a tip or something like that, that's on you guys. But, you know, it's okay just doing it with the 500. But I tell people, tip her something because she's saving you thousands of dollars because these agencies are charging that. But your $1,400 application fee pays her, and the PRA pays her out of that. So you don't have to pay her a nickel. That's the best part about it. These other agencies are double dipping. They're charging 1,000, and plus they get the 500, and they're not even telling you about the other 500. They're not being transparent. And then some vloggers are getting kickbacks from that are sending people to these agencies and lawyers and stuff like that. So be careful, you know, because there's unscrupulous vloggers out there too that don't look out for your back, you know. And here we try to look out for all you guys' backs. You guys know that. Paul Osborne says, Steve, your updates on Chinese aggression are very important. USA has a senile president who may or may not protect Taiwan. It is hard for us in the USA to get hard news on the hypersonic weapons. You know something? The United States just did a test on their hypersonic weapon up in I think it was up in Alaska, and it just failed. I just heard. I don't even think it lifted off, actually. And I also heard that the hypersonic weapons can't be shot down, which I thought that they could, because I'd read an article saying that the United States could shoot that down with laser. According to what I heard, the laser can't keep up with it fast enough to heat it up to take it down. So that's not good news. And they said our weapon systems, like anti-missile missiles, the hypersonic missile flies so fast and it drops MIRVs. So if it's already over the country and it drops one MIRV, it's already, by the time it drops one, it's probably dropped 4 more somewhere else before any weapon could even catch up with that thing. Those things are very fast, and it's hard tech to catch up with. I mean, this is coming from a person that was on nuclear submarines. I was on submarines when I was in the service, so I mean I know about missiles and stuff. I was a cook, but you have to qualify submarines to get your Dolphins. You learn all the weapon systems. You learn everything. See, Chuck Newcomb says, I'm planning on coming over in the next year. I'm 45. I have heard that your 3-year time restarts if you leave the country for a day or two. Yes, if you're on the tourist visa. That is true. If we should be getting the same type of visa, same type of thing after all this mess is over, but we won't know till it's over. Jason Will says, if you can afford it, I agree. Keep Bitcoin long term and just exchange it for assets, not fiat currencies, so you don't get taxed. Yeah, I mean, if you can do it that way, man, it's great doing that if it keeps on growing, but if it goes down, I'd be a little bit worried. Steve Ford says, I tried to Google Olongo to learn Babel, etc. Don't have any ideas on where to learn. Steve, I think you have to pick that one up right while you're living there. That's about the best way to get it. That's the best way to learn. Just by talking to people. Ask them to teach you Olongo when you get there. I'm not sure you can learn dialects here through some course or anything. I'm not sure you can. I don't think you can. Let's see. Spanish says, is knowing Spanish a good thing in the Philippines? Yes. A friend of mine was Portuguese, and he said he married a girl up north here, and he said he could understand the language here pretty well up north. A lot of the words. He could understand most of what they were saying because of the Spanish in that section. I don't know if it was in the dialect or if he was talking Tagalog or whatever. But he said he could understand a lot of the words. See, R&R, what is your strategy for dealing with mosquitoes? You know something, in my area here, we only have mosquitoes for about 1 hour a day, and it's usually between 5 and 6, and then they go away. We don't have them all day. If you do see them, they're very few and far between. But it's only for like about an hour a day or so. Craig Jordan says, Paul Osborne tried Defense News. There is plentiful coverage on the hypersonic missiles. Yes, there is some coverage out there. Most of it, it's not that informative though on some of those channels, some of those YouTube channels. Some of it I think is fake news. So you got to be careful what you watch. Michael L. Let's see. No, Spanish is not much used in the Philippines unless they are Iberian, worship Hispanista. No, Michael, they use Spanish a lot. Some people said it's like as much as 20%. I don't know if it's 20%, but I heard somebody say that, and it depends on where you are in the Philippines too. Jack Eisman says, any recommendations for health and travel insurance for a 66-year-old with pre-existing conditions? That's a rough one, Jack, but I mean, Pacific Cross will let you in with pre-existing conditions, but you pay a little bit more. So, I mean, you could go through Pacific Cross for sure, but they're going to charge you a little bit more. They have the peso plan and they have the dollar plans. So ask about both. But Pacific Cross is pretty decent, and it's good for the Philippines. It's probably one of the better insurance companies in the Philippines, let's put it that way. It's not the greatest, but it's good. Let's see, Michael L. says, Caspian Report is also good for international analysis. Smoky Mountain Modeler says, at Steve Ford, try YouTube or Google Alongo for lessons. I've done that with Basaya. There you go, Steve. I never thought of that. YouTube has everything, you know. It really does when you think about it. Let's see, we got 114 people, 57 thumbs up. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Let's see, John Wells says, R&R, it depends on where you are. Mosquitoes aren't bad in some areas. I'm in Negros Occidental, and they are not bad at all here. The same here. Same here. Let's see. Micah Mauricio, hello from Virginia. How you doing, Micah Mauricio? JD says, good evening. Week 2 since complete EED package submitted by Mary Rose. Hopefully get the EED in another few weeks. JD, they're moving fast. They're moving fast. They're moving pretty fast. My friend just got in here. One of my friends, and I forget which batch he was in. We were together today. I was helping him find a place. So he came over on the SRRV, and he's in. He's done with the quarantine, and he's roaring and ready to go, you know. So good things are happening. Michael, a hypersonic weapon can be shot down. The laser not being able to keep up with it is a software problem, not a hardware issue. They probably should not outsource that programming. Steve Ford, I do speak good Spanish. I used to babble to learn French. Not got a longo. We'll try it again. Try again, Google. Thanks. We'll try YouTube too, Steve. KJC hates the West. If you had a 2-bedroom house built in Valencia area, for instance, what is it likely to cost? I'm not sure because there's different levels of a house, for sure, here in the Philippines. But like a cement house wouldn't be that expensive. I'm not sure, probably $20,000 to build it decent, I would say. Let's see, Crypto Trucker says, I enjoy your show, and I won't hold it against you that you're a squid. Okay. See, John Wales, Smoky Mountain Modeler. Jeff, can you speak Bisayan? Dickie Spaz is on board. He says, isn't it kind of comical that China has tested a hypersonic missile and the media and loony left made fun of Trump for starting the Space Force? Trump proven right again. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. The funny part about the hypersonic missile is nobody detected it, and it flew all the way around the world. That was kind of like spit in your eye, you know? But let's see here. Let me get a drink here, guys. Hold on. Let's see. Smoky Mountain Modeler says, not yet, John Wales. Being lax on study, only some phrases. We'll hit it hard when things settle down. Leonard Lund says, the laser should be able to shoot it down. The laser beam moves at the speed of light, so it should be fast enough to shoot down the hypersonic weapons. I think it's the way that they target it. They said that eventually it'll probably catch up, but they just don't have the tech to know how to do that yet. So, or they don't have the tech ready to do that yet, I should say. but the way they made it sound was, it wasn't like it was a problem focusing on the hypersonic, weapon as it's moving, and that's the hard part. That's like very technical. People think it would be easy, but it's not. Let's see. Michael L says loan words from Spanish are present in Tagalog. However, the grammar is completely different. So you may get a gist of what is being said. However, speaking or writing it correctly is different. Yes. Paul Osborne says, "Hey Steve, there is a very good indoor bug zapper for about $30 US. I actually have one. Yeah, I loaned it to my godchild. She has it over her house. They use it over there at night because the baby was getting bit by mosquitoes. So I told them, I says they could borrow my bug zapper. But yeah, I think I paid about $30 for that thing. It's a nice one too. Let's see. Crypto Taker says, I remember getting in trouble with my lady for selling Doge coin and buying 1.5 billion Saitama Inu a while back. Now she's loving the hell out of me right now with nightly happy stimulus dollars. There we go. Jason Will, I've been learning Tagalog chatting on Omegle with people. Most people speak Taglish, not pure Tagalog anymore. Just substitute English when you don't know the Tagalog word. Everyone does it. Yeah, it's kind of true here. I hear that kind of mixed in a little bit. See, Craig Jordan says the Philippine Info Channel Defense News is a real military news website with a daily newsletter users can subscribe to for free. They have a lot of military magazines and stuff like that. You can subscribe online too. I forget the name of them. I know what Stars and Stripes is or something like that, I think it is. Michael L. says, we had the tech in the 60s, however, the programs keep on getting canceled. Look up X-20 Dinosaur and the MOL Manned Orbiting Lab. Let's see. Jason Will says, yeah, Tagalog structure is not like Spanish at all. Plus, Tagalog is genderless, unlike Spanish. Let's see. Craig Jordan says, if you are a person that knows the Spanish language, Tagalog seems easy to all, so learn. I think this is, just hang out with Filipinos and listen to their conversation for common connective words. I could never understand the Tagalog language. I could pick up Spanish left and right and understand it, but Tagalog is something I'm totally lost with. Let's see. Yeah, DR, we know. We know. I'm from Boston, so I don't pronounce it that way. Let's see. Michael L. says, can confirm third person gender does not exist in tag. Sia can be either he or she. Same with Sila. That's why they have a problem with he or she, because they always say, if it's a he, they say she, or if it's a she, they say he sometimes. They always get that wrong. If you ever noticed that in the Philippines, they always get that wrong when you're talking about language. Let's see. R&I, is it expensive to transport furniture and appliances from your local store to your residence? No. Nope. Transport's pretty cheap. It depends on what store you use too. If you use a mall store, they're gonna really soak you. But if you use like a local furniture store, an appliance store, they're very, very cheap. Okay, if you know people, you can get stuff done for free too, or fairly cheap. The thing is about having connections. Seriously, we've had some connections around here for transporting stuff, and it's saved me a lot of money. So just FYI. Michael L. Modern Metro Tagalog has Spanish, English influences, yet Malay grammar. Let's see. Rick's Destination Cebu says, from Boston. Let's see. Craig Jordan, Tagalog is gender neutral. John Wales says, I've noticed he and she. I didn't know the reason. Well, now we know, John. It's one thing I notice is everybody, they always get mixed up. When they talk about a man, they're saying she. Or, if it's the opposite, then they say a he. And I'm like, why do they always get that mixed up? But they do. They always do. Peter Anderson says, no people is the key. And when you know people in the Philippines, man, that's very key to surviving here, I think. It's a really good thing to know because, even John will probably tell you the same thing here. Who you know can save you some serious money here, especially when you know people at appliance stores, air conditioning. It's paid off for me in a big way because I've been able to help a lot of the expats here by getting to know people and help those people get deals here. And in some cases, we've saved hundreds of dollars for people. just by, you know, knowing somebody that will give out a good deal. Because if you go to some of these appliance stores, like for AC, refrigerators, things like that, you can get some great deals if you know people in those stores. We bought a refrigerator for one of the expats here. It was a $425 Panasonic. We got it for $325. I mean, that's a great savings. That's a great, great savings. You know, it's the key to making it over here and surviving over here is having friends and you know, making that work. And sharing those with other expats that come over too and saving them money, you know. Let's see. Jason Will says, yeah, they mix up genders because of the Tagalog neutrality. If you can't follow, ask them to use the names of people instead. Yeah, sometimes it's better probably, you know. But I think I'm going to end early tonight, guys. We are right at the end of this thing here. It's probably a good time to end. I know usually we go longer, but tonight I'm like really beat. We got up early this morning. We've been working with an expat here who is a friend of mine, and we've been helping him all day. And I'm just kind of beat. I got to get up in the morning to help them too, and I got to make a couple of phone calls and everything. But I want to thank you guys for joining tonight. Let me take these other two. Craig Jordan says, in the Philippines, you don't turn on the light, you open the light. Yeah, there we go. Rick's Destination Cebu took over a year before my wife decided to tell me her language was gender neutral. I was confused so many times when she would flip between he and she and him and her. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Arna, how do you find a local plumber and electrician? Actually, sometimes they're one and the same. You know, we hire a guy that is my girlfriend's cousin, and he's really good with doing plumbing, and he also does electrical work, and he does a really, really good job. And he's good. We've had him put in a lot of stuff, and we've had no problems with any of those items, you know. But thank you guys for joining tonight. Make sure you're here next week. Next week we'll do the regular hour and a half, but I just want to kind of end tonight early. I'm a little bit beat today. It's been a long week, but I really appreciate you guys. You know, I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight, and next week we'll do an hour and a half for sure. Okay, guys, but God bless. Thanks, guys.